week. I'm your host, Dave Dalton, and I'm excited to share my passion and perspective of our Detroit Pistons as we go on this fantastic voyage together. I've been a diehard Piston fan since the days of Dave Bing and Bob Lanier. I've also been the varsity basketball coach of a very successful program in northern Michigan. Well, Piston fans, tonight was a disappointment. We've been kind of riding a high, and I think I told you this is going to be a season full of ups and downs, like a roller coaster ride, but tonight we came out a little bit flat. We played 3 games in 4 days, and we had a day off. We only had one home game. Then we got to fly out to Oklahoma City and play a really, really good team. And I was hoping that Oklahoma City would be tired because they had to play a back-to-back. But they played yesterday. They played against Denver. They got blown out by Denver, and it was 128-95. And Shea scored 7 points. So he was 2 for 16 against them, and then tonight he scores 32 points. But I knew that they were going to be mad. I knew they were going to bounce back, and they didn't play their players very many minutes because they were getting blown out so bad. So I think most of them only played like in the 20s. All of them only played in the 20s. So anyway, we lose tonight 124-112, and we got off to another bad start. 6 minutes into the game, we only had 8 points, and we were 2 for 10 shooting with 3 turnovers, and so it's kind of been the way that we have started a lot of our games. Our starting group doesn't quite score that well, and we don't have a lot of shooters in it, so they really collapse the defense. So, and Coach Williams said that tonight we didn't set good screens, and so at the right angle, and so it made it hard. We had a season low of turnovers though, and we only had 15, but Cade Cunningham's had 7. So. And all of those were in in the first 3 quarters, and so that was really hurtful. He's got to be better, but there's just not a lot of room to operate because again we have not a lot of shooters in our starting lineup. So, the NBA is full of ups and downs for everybody, not just for us. I know that there's been games that have been played, that are surprising. The outcomes that are surprising, just lately and just this early into the year. Atlanta is 0-2, and they go into Milwaukee, and they beat the Bucks 127-110. And Damian Lillard, he has like 40 or 39 or something in the first game, and tonight that game he had 6 points and he was 2 for 10 and with 6 turnovers. So he's one of the greatest players in the NBA that's ever played. And so there are lots of ups and downs. And like I said, Oklahoma City they're a really good team, but they got drilled by Denver yesterday. So the Wizards, they look just awful in their first game, and then they come back and win a game 113-106. So I think that's going to be the NBA is going to be like that this year, and it's going to be that way having a young team. But Monty says he's looking forward to seeing how Cade and how our team bounces back. We don't have a lot of time. We have one day off, and we're playing Wednesday on November 1st, my birthday. I'll be 68 years old, and I'll be down at the game watching them play against the Blazers. And so the Blazers, they have been looking really bad. They've been getting beat badly, but tonight they won their game. So who knows? They did lose one of their better players. Anthony Simons is out for a long time, but Jeremy Grant had 22 tonight for them. So we have to watch and see. It's going to be interesting to see if they ever decide, if he ever decides that he might change the starting lineup and try to get more shooting in the starting lineup. There's been, Sam Vecini, who, if you listen to Game Theory podcast, he is outstanding. So he mentioned that Cade, Killian, Asar, Duren, and Stu, they played only together so this is a small sample size, so you can't go by everything, but it happened again tonight. But anyway, 40 minutes they play together, they're minus 10. So we lose by 10 during the minutes that starting group that we continue to start are in the game. And if you substitute Burks in instead of Killian, we win by 36, playing with the other same 4 players. And so, I'm not sure that's all Killian's fault, but that's just a reality that the team overall is plus 27 on the year, but our starting group is minus 10. And so I don't know. We'll see if he wants to adjust. I mean, I know he likes that defensive identity, and Killian's a good defender, but it's just hard when he shoots 29%. So, couple things though that's pretty cool. That Asar, before we dive in deeper into the game, going into tonight, of all the rookies. So I see these sites and hear these people talk about the Rookie of the Year battle, and it's between Wemby and Chet, and then I tweeted out to their tweet about that, or who's number one in rebounding of all rookies? Asar. Who's number one in offensive rebounds? Asar Thompson. Who has the most assists per game of all the rookies? It's Asar. And who's blocked the most shots? Those guys are these freaky athlete, big, long guys that block shots all the time. But Asar is averaging more blocks per game than Wemby and Chet. So give him a lot of credit for that. So tonight, my one thing is Duren. I'm not sure, he only played 23 minutes and he didn't shoot very well. So he wouldn't be leading probably now, but going into tonight, he was shooting 80%, leading the NBA in shooting percentage. He was leading the NBA in rebounding, and he was leading the NBA in dunks. So again, small sample size, 3 games, but we'll just have to see what happens and see if he was okay. Nobody mentioned that he was hurt, but he did not go back in the game when all the other starters were back in there. Again, he played 23 minutes, and all the starters played, in the 30s. So he's been just great, and he made some great plays tonight. He took it right into Chet a couple times, and he took it to Chet and shot it up and missed it, and then got the rebound back over top of Chet and stuck it back in. I'm not sure, Chet got 5 fouls, so we made it hard for him. He did make his 4. He shot 5 shots. He was 4 for 5. Chet Holmgren, 7'2" or whatever he is. They were all threes, and he made 4 out of 5 threes. But we did leave him wide open. So I'm not sure where we got caught up. Shea had that terrible game. Like I said, he had only 7 points yesterday, and he had 32 today, and he was 11 for 23, 9 for 9 on free throws. But I'm going to tell you this: if you got to watch the game, when Asar guarded him, he was fantastic. Asar, at one stretch, he blocked his shot. He drew an offensive foul. He forced him to travel. There was another play where he was had the ball at the end of a quarter, and he was dribbling out front. He had it cleared out for him to try to drive, and he tried to make 2 or 3 different moves, and then all of a sudden he couldn't get a shot off, and then he ended up having to do a step back, fade away, and it was not good. So Asar did a fabulous job at the beginning of the game. I know he was 1 for 4 when Asar guarded him, but whenever Asar was not guarding him, he lit it up. So the score, the 32 points looks like Asar didn't do a good job on him, but he really did. So looking at the stats, Asar played 31 minutes, but the best thing about that happened tonight. Oh, the Lions won, so that was a huge thing. Or they're winning. I think the game's almost over. But Asar got hurt. He played 26 minutes, but then he looked like he was in severe pain. He could not get up. He had to be helped off the court, and then ended up, luckily, it was just a cramp, and he re-entered the game. So that was the big relief. I thought, oh, man, if we lose the game, we lose the game. But if we lose Asar, and, this year of development, it would be terrible if we had to lose him for weeks. The other thing that happens is we get into problems because we need a backup 4, and we don't have anybody except I think Coach Monty does a good job of staggering sometimes so that like Asar can be out there and be the 4. But we just don't have rebounding, because then all of a sudden we're out there and we have Stu and Sasser and Ivey and Joe Harris and Burks. And that is not a lineup that is going to stop anybody. And they could just, at one time, Shea just drove in and dunked it on Joe Harris because there was no rim protection out there. I think Marvin was out, space guarding Chet out at the 3-point line where Chet seems to hang out a lot. So anyway, Asar played 31 minutes. He was 6 for 14. He had 0 in the first half. He missed every shot. Maybe he made a free throw, I think. But he in the start of the third quarter, he went got out on the break. Cade made an awesome bounce pass to him through traffic, and he laid it in or dunked it. And then very next play, Cade on the break lobs him up a lob for a dunk, and Killian I think made a great pass to him for another dunk. So he had, he still needs to shoot. We can't, have that lineup with all those non-shooters out there. But he had made 6 shots, and he was 3 for 4 on free throws, which again, that's what I want him to shoot. If he can shoot 75%, we're good. He had 10 rebounds, even though again he got hurt a little bit. He had 3 assists, and he had 3 blocks and 3 turnovers. So he did a lot of the same things that he's done all year. Stu had a good game, a really good game. 31 minutes, 4 for 9, 2 for 3 on threes, 2 for 2 from the line, 7 rebounds, 2 turnovers, 12 points, and he was -7. So the thing that happens in his 2 turnovers were both, one, he got a charge trying to dribble and force it in on somebody. He's just not good at that. I mean, if he's got a lane or somebody does a bad closeout and he's driving directly to the basket, but when he tries to force it and pound it in and take more than 3 dribbles, he always seems to get in trouble this year. So he just needs to cut that out. Like I said, he got that charge and he got a technical. Another time he just lost the ball, got it stolen from him because he tried pounding the ball too much. So. But still, that's a good game for him to be 4 for 9 and 7 rebounds in 31 minutes. He just plays really solid. Duren, like I said, he was only 4 for 11, so sometimes he got shots and got his own rebound and put it back in. But he had 7 rebounds and only 8 points, and so that was, I'm sure, a disappointing game for him. But I hope he's okay because he did not play in the fourth quarter, I don't think. So Cade played 35 minutes. He was 4 for 11, and he was. No, he was 5 for 15, excuse me. 5 for 15, but 3 for 7 on threes, which is still really good. If he can shoot that percentage, we're good with that. 4 for 5 from the line, so he got fouls. Again, he never got to even shoot hardly 5 foul shots in a game last year, but he only had 2 rebounds, 5 assists. But again, the 7 turnovers just got cut out. I know, even though Monty said players are going to have bad games like that, but he just has, he had another game, I think, where he had 6 turnovers, but he had 17 points. And a lot of those, he's got scored in the fourth quarter. They did a really good job. They put Lou Dort on him, and Lou Dort is physical and tough. And then when we have no spacing, and then they got Chet back there in the lane. That makes it hard to operate. So, Killian, 27 minutes, 4 for 11, 1 for 4 on threes. Killian continues to be aggressive. He, for a guy that's shooting 29%, he still thinks he can score, and he still is aggressive and looks to score and looks to shoot. He was 1 for 2 from the free throw line, and I know he's a better free throw shooter than that, but he had a couple games like that, which he never gets many foul shots. So he had 4 rebounds, 7 assists, which is awesome, and only 1 turnover. So that is tremendous assist to turnover ratio. 10 points. He was -15, which was again the worst on the team. Bagley, 23 minutes. And he was marvelous again. Again, he got more minutes because they didn't play Duren in the fourth quarter. But he was 3 for 4. His shooting percentage is awesome. It must be close to at least 75%. And then he gets fouled all the time. So he was 7 for 8 from the free throw line, and he had 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 13 points, and he was maybe the only guy. He was 0, neither plus nor minus. So that was cool. Joe Harris only played 10 minutes. He was 0 for 1. Ivey had played 19 minutes. So, Ivey's playing 30 minutes. So this has got to be a weird adjustment for him because he's averaging under 20 minutes a game. And he was our leading scorer. He had 20 points in only 19 minutes. And he was 7 for 13. He was 4 for 6 on threes. Like I said, his 3-point shot looked really good. And I know, again, I second guess coaches. I second guess Chuck Daly. It used to make me mad when he didn't start Dennis Rodman when Dennis Rodman was so awesome back in the late 80s when we had the bad boys. And then eventually he ended up starting him. Or when Larry Brown went and played Mehmet Okur. And Mehmet Okur, he led the team when we won the championship with Larry in shooting percentage. But yet Larry, every game, Okur would tear it up. He'd play great, and then he'd make one defensive mistake in Larry's eyes, and he'd bench him for 3 games, and then he'd put him back in, and he'd tear it up again. But anyway, he ended up getting traded to Utah, and he ended up being an all-star. But I thought Okoro should have been playing more back then. Now I think that, when we have problems with spacing, and Ivey's defense still is, sometimes he's just scattered. He just runs helter-skelter, it seems like, out there. And he fouled Shea on a fadeaway jumper. He's putting forth the effort. He puts forth effort. He puts forth energy. It's never about his effort. Even last year, people say he didn't play as hard, but he plays hard on defense. But he's just scattered, and he just needs to be more disciplined. But anyway, when you have a team that has no spacing and we get off to bad starts offensively, then it just seems to me that maybe Burks or Ivey might be better suited to be in the starting lineup to give us, a chance to score. So Sasser, another good game with few minutes. He was 2 for 4, 13 minutes, 2 for 2 on threes. His stroke is good, and he still somehow in those little minutes he had 2 rebounds and 2 assists. He had 6 points. So the crazy thing is, we shot 43% from the overall, but we shot 54% on threes, and we lost by 12. It was worse than that. We were down by 20 a lot of the time, but we had a lot of guys make threes, and so that was a good positive for the game, that we made a lot of threes. We shot 79% on free throws, which again, that's good, really good for our team. We need that. We had 41 rebounds, but again, Duren didn't play as much, so we got out rebounded 41 to 44, but we only had 16 turnovers. I think that was a season low, and Oklahoma City had 15 turnovers. But they shot 45% they shot 53% from the floor overall and 45% on threes. But at the end in the fourth quarter, Giddey just took the ball to us. He just drove it right down our throat. He scored 13 of his points in the fourth quarter, 13 of his 21. And he just drove, especially when he got like Sasser. He's 6'9" or 6'8", and he's pretty strong, and he forces drive. When I first watched him play, when he was a rookie, I think this is his 3rd year, he was unbelievable passer. He was so much fun to watch. He doesn't do that anymore. Of course, Shea has the ball most of the time. But anyway, Ivey came in the game, and we cut the lead down to 7. Ivey made 2 threes, and Burks made a 3 on an assist from Ivey, and we got the lead cut down to 7. And that was, despite how badly we played, we still had a chance. And Oklahoma City played zone, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of that, because they just knew that we had no shooters when they played the zone when that starting group was in the game together. So we'll see what happens from there. But as disappointing as it was to lose, we have still a great season to look forward to. Like I said, there's a lot of surprises in the league. Who would have thought Milwaukee would lose at home to Atlanta, and who would think that Denver would kill Oklahoma City by that bad? And it's just that there's going to be lots of surprises every night in the NBA. I mean, there always are in sports. We all know that. But it's going to be, I think in the NBA, it's going to be more surprises than ever before, where teams just keep on knocking each other's off, where you even would not expect it to happen. So anyway, I just appreciate every one of you. I had so many more people, new subscribers. And we had over 1,000 people listen to the last episode, and I just appreciate every one of you. And it's exciting that so many people take the time to listen. And I hope you enjoy the podcast. And if you're listening on YouTube, please subscribe. Again, a lot of new people. We had a lot of new people subscribe, and we have a lot of people that don't subscribe. It just takes a click of a button. And leave a thumbs up. If you're listening on Spotify, please leave a 5-star review. Be the reason that somebody feels cared for and wanted. And I hope that if I can see you at the Blazers game Wednesday, and do something nice for somebody today, and be the reason they feel seen and heard and cared for. And go Pistons.